Hey everyone, Craig Ball here. Today we're going to talk about the leader's role in establishing psychological safety. The leader's role, if you don't know, is critical or central to the development of psychological safety. And this can be done in a number of ways. The leader sets the tone, and people often look to the leader of a team or an organization for confirmation that certain things are going to be acceptable and certain practices are going to be rewarded or punished, as is the case with the sharing of ideas sometimes or with speaking up. Often in organisations we know this is discouraged, but it needs to be allowed a free flow. So the three things that leaders can start doing, if you're a leader listening and watching this, that you can start doing today to start bringing psychological safety into your team. The first one is modelling vulnerability. Admitting your mistakes. Admit when you've made a mistake. Admit when you've tried something that hasn't worked. If you're trying a project, if you're championing a project or sponsoring a project for the first time, and you've never done it before, say, I haven't had no experience doing this before. Let's see where it goes. If you treat that work, if you treat everything like an experiment, it makes it much easier for people to learn from it, because that begins the process of making mistakes okay. So admit your own mistakes, reward them in others, share with everybody that we're now going to have this culture. And how can you start by doing it? But start by saying, here's some mistakes that I've made that were pretty bad and ones that I may regret. Okay? The next thing you do is start an open dialogue. Okay? When discussing an issue or bringing up a situation to discuss or news to bring, share with your team that dissenting opinions are allowed. In fact, they're rewarded and encouraged, because you need to know where people really feel and how things can work. Because if you're a great idea that you think everyone's just going to come on board with, and half the organisation thinks it's terrible or awful, or that God forbid that it sucks, you need to know this, because that's where reality lives, and that's how you get to this space of psychological safety. And lastly, make failure okay. All right, so giving people a chance to admit mistakes, and instead of focusing on blame, take the blame out. Let's not play the blame game, because it's often causes people to shut down and not want to be part of the game. You focus instead on how we can learn from it, what a solution to this problem is. Let's brainstorm, let's network and review it. Let's get everybody together and have the conversation and reward somebody for admitting this. This is honesty and the meat that you need, because when things are going bad, to have a high-performing organisation that rises above the challenges, they need to be able to admit mistakes, learn from them quickly and move on. And if you establish that as part of your psychological safety within your organisation or team, you'll be unstoppable. Thanks a lot. I hope that helps. If you would like to learn more about your team's level of psych safety and what can be done, go over to askcraigball.com, fill out the quiz, and I'll score it and get it back to you. I hope to speak to you soon.